Good morning and welcome to Join the Dots. Occasionally, in all the research I do, in all the pieces I review, I find a piece that has so much information that I think I ought to concentrate on it for you and just dissect it in a more simple way so that hopefully you can better understand what this brilliant guy, Miles Harris, is actually saying. So it'll be my interpretation, it might be slightly wrong, but please watch it, please listen. Okay, you're going to hear so many stories of why gold is rising, why this, why that, why it's too high, why it's going to crash. Understand this one piece, which I'll link, but I'm going to go through it now with you. Okay, this is Miles Harris talking about the dark side of gold's rise. And in this world now, if you haven't got the feeling that there's a dark side to everything, then you're just not awake. You're really not awake, whether that's climate change, whether it's COVID, whether it's vaccines, whether it's the Israeli situation, the Gaza situation, the Ukraine situation, the US college situation. There is a dark side to everything. And there's a dark side to gold. But also, gold can be both your armour and your weapon. And that's what I want to talk about. So the central banks, as we know, are hoarding gold. China, Russia, India, Turkey, Iran. America's been buying a lot recently and hasn't told us yet how much it's got. Hasn't done the audit that Trump promised, didn't he? He promised, like the Epstein files. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen the gold audit. But the central banks are hoarding gold to deprive the public. They want it before the public get it, because then they're going to use it on the public. It's the institutional control of gold. Tokenisation of gold will amplify that effect. Some people think, oh, tokenisation of gold, great, I can get some tokens. But who has the gold? The central bank, the institutions, not the people. You just have a little piece of paper or an electronic token. You don't have the gold, do you? Okay? So governments know and control all ownership. The metal will be embedded into the monetary infrastructure and no longer be merely a passive reserve. Well, I think we've seen that already. We've seen gold is being weaponised because we've seen what the BRICS countries are doing. They're all accumulating gold. And it's a way of both armour for them, protecting them from actions by the West, and it's also a weapon with which to hit the West, if they need to. So it will be a monetary tool of regulatory power, yes, okay. After 2 minutes, Tether owns 8.7 billion in physical gold now. 8.7 billion. And it's backing the XAUt token, which has a market cap now 1.3 billion, which puts it in the top 100 of crypto. So it's not huge yet, but it's making progress. So do a Google search on that, because I find it interesting when I did it. Just do a Google search and say, does Tether own gold mining shares? That's the search I put in, and it gives you the background as to what Tether... And yes, it is buying gold mining shares as well. Doesn't just want the gold, wants the gold miners. What are we doing? We're buying gold, we're buying gold miners. We're up with the crew, we're up with the team here. But those who aren't are not, and they're getting further behind by the day. Okay, as I've told you, there's asymmetric risk in gold, okay? Because everyone wants it. The good people want it, and the bad people want it. They want it as armour, they want it as a sword. So it's asymmetric risk. It doesn't have much of a downside, but it has all parties giving it an upside. Okay, let's look at this bit more here. Gold is money, and as we know from everything we've learned in our history, money is power. As trust in everything is dismantled. Now this links into my matrix, the inversion matrix, doesn't it? It links in. As trust in everything is dismantled, look what we've seen on Charlie Kirk. Look at all the texts coming out now. Look at the bands celebrating. Look at college campuses celebrating. Celebrating someone being slaughtered or killed. Can you see? Everything is wrong. Everything, all trust is being dismantled. All trust in everything. We believe that someone could go on a stage and make a speech. But Trump and Kirk show us that you can't now. You can't go on a stage and make a speech. Everything is being dismantled in front of our very eyes as per the Inversion Matrix. Please refer back to that episode. It is so obvious to me, and I hope it will become obvious to you. So tokenization protects the core because they have the gold, and distributes the risk to those who own the tokens because they don't have the gold, do they? They just have a piece of electronic data that says they own the gold, but they don't have it. Okay, so all the risk is with them, and all the gold is with maybe Tether, maybe central banks, other institutions, BlackRock, Vanguard, ETFs. That's where the gold is. Where's the risk? It's with you. He who has the gold. So gold is rising as it's being hoarded and protected. They're using it to protect themselves, and they're hoarding it. 6 minutes 20, there's a good piece. Peter Miller wrote a piece in 2006 and provided an analysis of monetary trends. And as we know, gold has outperformed all other assets in the last 54 years. All other assets, S&P, all dividends reinvested, gold has outperformed it. So don't let people tell you it hasn't, because they're either stupid or they're lying. I say ignorant, not stupid. Ignorant literally. In other words, they don't know the facts, or they're lying, okay, because their sales pitch doesn't include gold. Any financial advisor you've got, tell me how many of you have got financial advisors who recommended gold or gold shares. I don't expect a lot of replies. So gold is necessary to maintain stability of the global monetary system. Well, we know that, and we're there, aren't we? So the 5 stages are: 1, stability. We'd enjoyed that. For years and years we'd had stability and everyone thought the world was fine, and off we were, 80s, 90s, noughties, fantastic world. Then we had inflation, and that was added to by COVID. Aha, in came COVID, excuse for massive inflation, wasn't it? Just print money, because we're going to shut down the economy. So let's print money, let's cause inflation. Then you get disinflation. Then you get instability, and if you don't think we're in instability, then again, you're either asleep or whatever. And then you have to have reform, a new system. So those are the 5 stages. Well worth watching this piece yourself, but I'm trying to break it down and make it easier for you to understand. All right? So revaluation of gold will overcome the debt or the depression. Now, if you can't see we're going into depression, if everything I've sent you doesn't tell you we're going into a depression, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see it. Every leading indicator is screaming now recession, and recession is the first step to a depression if you cannot solve it. And how can we solve this? Where's the light? Where's the light at the end of this tunnel that says this recession can end quickly? Where's the V-shaped recovery? There isn't one. It's an L, and that's the best case. The worst case, it just keeps going down. Okay, so gold is being revealed even as revalued, even as institutions tighten control, isn't it? It's being revalued. Every day it's, well, not every day, but most days, most months, it's rising. So there is hope for those who realise the truth. You, listening to me listening to people like Miles, Mike Maloney, Andy Shepman, Rick Rule, all the good people out there, if you listen to them, they will explain to you why gold is both your shield to protect you and your sword to attack those who attack you. Central banks use gold's stability and appreciation to underwrite their financial alchemy. Now, what did I tell you yesterday? Remember, there are 500 trillion of derivatives out there. JP Morgan alone has 50 trillion of derivatives. On or off its balance sheet, we don't know. 50 trillion. Okay, so gold is going to underwrite this financial alchemy when it all unravels or is revealed or whatever. But they need to keep building gold. So real wealth comes from 4 things, Miles says. Autonomy, your own independence. Relationships, yes, and again, the inversion matrix is designed to destroy your relationships. And what happened with COVID? What happened with vaccines? What happened with climate change? Everything is aiming to destroy relationships. People have different opinions. You're not allowed to have a different opinion in this world now, are you? You get shot for having a different opinion. In a more minor way, families are breaking down. I know families who can't talk to each other because of vaccines, because some realise the truth and some refuse to realise the truth. Okay? Families are being broken down. Everything's being broken down. Relationships broken down. Knowledge is being questioned. History is being rewritten. The inversion matrix. It all comes back to gold in terms of how we can protect ourselves and how we can look forwards. Okay? So a very small part of gold's rise is inflation. But the bulk is the world's financial core securing itself from its own inflationary policies, while transferring its risk outwards from the centre. It holds the gold. You, holding the tokens, hold the risk. Gone. Flick of a button. So, tokenisation strengthens their strategy while appearing to offer you liquidity and greater participation. It's true, isn't it? You feel you're involved. You feel you've got participation. You feel you've got liquidity. Switch of a button, gone. Ultimate control stays with the central banks and the corporate actors. The public engage willingly due to tradition and trust. We trust gold. There's a tradition of valuing gold. We trust our institutions still a little bit. So the public are the patsies, aren't they? They're the ones who still believe in a fair system. So if we want to retain our independence as individuals and families, we have to be involved and understand the system and then act upon that knowledge. Okay, so that's a breakdown of Miles's present, and I think it's an excellent presentation. Watch the link. I've watched it 3 or 4 times now, and it's taken me 4 hours to break that down. It's only 10 minutes. It's taken me 4 hours. And I hope I know what I'm talking about. So take the time, watch it once, think about it, watch it again, watch it in parallel with my notes that I've just given you, and understand what's happening and how all these things link. The matrix links in. You're seeing it every day. Charlie Kirk is just another manifestation of the matrix. Relationships being destroyed. They need to destroy everything to rebuild it in the way they wish to run it. Okay? Thank you very much.